This night, November 1944. The sea is calm, but there is danger lurking below the surface of the water. Japanese submarines can strike at any moment. Captain Randall, the American troop carrier, is crossing the Indian Ocean. There are 733 Polish children, 105 Polish personnel, and 3,000 American and a group of New Zealand soldiers on board. The Polish children and personnel are being transported to New Zealand in response to New Zealand Prime Minister Mr Peter Fraser's invitation to stay in his country until the end of the war. In spite of forced deportation, slave camps, death and misery in Soviet Union, and after 3 years in Iran, everyone still believes that, after the war, they will return to a free Poland. There are severe food shortages in New Zealand. In a country of lamb milk and butter, there are food rations. New Zealand is sending everything to Britain, but the government is still prepared to share with the survivors the little New Zealanders have. On arrival in Wellington, they are met on board by the Prime Minister, the Honourable Peter Fraser, and the Polish Consul and his wife, Kazimierz and Maria Wodzicki, the latter being responsible for encouraging the Prime Minister to bring the refugee group to New Zealand. When they look out the windows of the train, the children see an unbroken line of people lining the track, smiling warmly and waving Polish and New Zealand flags. New Zealanders are welcoming this first large group of refugees to their country. The Polish group is being accommodated in a former army camp close to Pahiatua, asbestos buildings, small and large, to suit different purposes, such as school and hospital, the church, the recreation hall, the dormitories, and small huts for families are scattered across green paddocks. This is even a beautiful chapel for daily prayer. The children study, pray, and play in the Polish language. At the end of the year, the children receive their school reports in Polish. The most important subjects are behavior and religion. There are also lessons in English as a second language. The Polish government in exile in London meets all their living expenses. Scouting and all the national and religious feast days and traditions are celebrated in Polish. There is Polish choir. The children perform at the concert in Wellington. On Sundays, New Zealanders visit the camp and hand out sweets to the children. There are sports teams. Polish children play against their Kiwi counterparts. The first contacts between the Polish and the New Zealand communities are established. Everyone loves the camp. It is a small Poland. A year after their arrival, the Polish community received the news that World War II has ended. The allied nations decide, however, that Poland is to be left in a communist bloc behind the Iron Curtain. Everyone feels disbelief, disappointment and betrayal. There is no free Poland to return to. The camp is about to be closed. To ensure that new communist government in Poland does not claim the children and force their return, a special committee asked Mr. Peter Fraser to give all the children without parents the status of state wards. Only a handful of adults and children returned to Poland. The majority remain in New Zealand. Gradually, increased numbers of children are sent out from the camp to New Zealand schools to prepare for further life. The Catholic Church takes responsibility for placing children in Catholic boarding school or with New Zealand families. The New Zealand government meets the cost of their education. From 1947, members of the former Polish army arrived at the camp to join their family, thus forming the second Polish refugee group to New Zealand. The Polish children's camp finally closed in 1948. Both children and adults dispersed and settled among New Zealand communities, start to make their own contribution to the welfare and development of their new homeland. Polish Jews who migrated to New Zealand prior to World War II and established a Polish association in Wellington invite adult Poles to join the organization. Older and younger girls are placed in a Polish girls' hostel. Younger schoolboys are accommodated at the boys' hostel in Island Bay, Wellington. The youngest boys are sent to the home in Pahiatua. More transports of displaced people arrived in 1949 and 1950 from Germany. There are the refugees from different European countries. There are also Polish refugees among them from the formerly German-occupied Western Poland, and they form the third group of Polish migrants to New Zealand. Polish people purchase a house to be used as the Polish house in Wellington. Adults pay from their own earning. Teachers are trained to teach at Polish Saturday School. There are lectures on Poland, presented by all the members of the Polish community. Similar Dom Polskis are open in cities wherever there is a sufficiently large Polish community established. It takes another few years, and the former Polish children are adults and begin to play an important role in maintaining Polish community activities. Later still, the children's children take on the responsibility for ensuring that the Polish spirit prospers and grows in Southern Hemisphere.